Dear friends, welcome to another session on organic chemistry. This session will explain about saturated and unsaturated compounds. Saturated compound. A compound is said to be saturated if the molecule contains only single bond between carbon atoms. For example, propane, its formula is C3H8. It can be represented as CH3, CH2, CH3. In propane, we have 3 carbon atoms, and in between the carbon-carbon atoms, there is single bond. This means the compound is saturated. Unsaturated compound. A compound is said to be unsaturated if the molecule contains double or triple bonds between the carbon-carbon atoms. The compound propene is an example of unsaturated compound since it contains a double bond. It is from the family alkene. Its formula is C3H6. It can be represented as CH2 double bond CH3, or it can be represented as CH3CH double bond CH2. Both of them are the same. Propane contains 3 carbon atoms. The first carbon atom is attached to 3 hydrogen atoms, and the fourth bond is between the first carbon and the second carbon atom. The second carbon atom is attached with the first carbon with a single bond, and it is as well attached to the third carbon by a double bond. And the fourth bond is between the carbon and the hydrogen atom. The third carbon atom is attached with a double bond with the second carbon atom, and it has 2 more bonds with 2 hydrogen atoms. You should remember here that each carbon atom must contain a total of 4 bonds. It cannot contain neither less nor more than 4 bonds. Another example is butene from the same homologous series of alkene. Its formula is C4H8. It can be represented as CH2 double bond CH, CH2, CH3, or CH3, CH2, CH double bond CH2. Both of them are the same. Butene contains 4 carbon atoms. The first carbon is attached to 3 hydrogen atoms, and the fourth bond is between the first carbon and the second carbon atom. The second carbon is attached to the first carbon and the third carbon by single bond. Therefore, it can accommodate 2 more bonds, which is bonded by 2 hydrogen atoms. The third carbon atom is attached to the second carbon atom by a single bond, whereas it has a double bond with a fourth carbon atom. In between the carbon-carbon atoms, it has a total of 3 bonds. Therefore, it can accommodate 1 more bond, which is with the hydrogen atom. The fourth carbon atom is attached to the third carbon atom by a double bond. Here, it can accommodate 2 more bonds, which is done by 2 hydrogen atoms. What is a hydrocarbon? The term hydrocarbon comes from hydrogen, carbon atoms. A compound which contains only hydrogen and carbon is known as hydrocarbon. For example, butane is a hydrocarbon where it contains only carbon and hydrogen. Its formula is C4H10. Another example is butane. Its formula is C4H8. Therefore, it contains only carbon and hydrogen along with the double bond in between the carbon-carbon atom. Therefore, it is a hydrocarbon. While dealing with saturated and unsaturated hydrocarbon, the main question comes, how can we distinguish in between them? Because both of them are mostly colorless liquid. Therefore, to test between unsaturated hydrocarbon and saturated hydrocarbon, the compounds can be bubbled through bromine water. Only unsaturated hydrocarbons will give a positive test, whereas there won't be any reaction with saturated hydrocarbon. The test is bubble the unsaturated hydrocarbon through bromine water. The bromine water is brown in color. What can you observe is that when bubble through bromine water, its brown color decolorizes. Therefore, the compound is unsaturated if the bromine water is decolorized. If it remains unchanged, this means that it is not an unsaturated hydrocarbon, it is a saturated hydrocarbon. And another test that can be carried out to distinguish between saturated hydrocarbon and unsaturated hydrocarbons is by bubbling the hydrocarbon through aqueous cheminophore. The cheminophore color is purple. When unsaturated hydrocarbons are bubbled through aqueous cheminophore, that is potassium permanganate 7, what can you observe is that its purple color decolorizes. Once again, only unsaturated hydrocarbon will decolorize the purple color of cheminophore, whereas there won't be any change for saturated hydrocarbons. By now, you must be able to test between saturated hydrocarbon and unsaturated hydrocarbon. You can identify whether a compound is saturated or unsaturated. You can define the term saturated hydrocarbon or unsaturated hydrocarbon, and you can define the term hydrocarbon. Therefore, we are at the end of this present session. Hope to see you in our next session. Thank you.